Hello, fellow fans of the bass. Welcome back to Phil Plays Bass, the stream where we talk bass. We practice together, we share cool ideas, videos, tips, and we come out of it unscathed and possibly enlightened. A bit of a disclaimer, I'm not here to teach, I simply want to share my opinions and my own views and experiences and be kind of this place to be kind of a catalyst for conversation and exchange of ideas. If you guys do have some suggestions when it comes to practicing all of that, it's 100% a forum and not a me talking and that's it. I just thought I'd mention it. It's probably a better way to phrase it, but yeah, a bit of a disclaimer. Guys, do join in the chat, say hi, introduce yourselves, tell me where you're at in your journey in bass. Are you a seasoned pro? Or did you just buy your first bass? Or found some kind of instrument, strange instrument in your garden shed and you want to know what it is? Do comment, and most importantly, ask loads of questions from me and from everybody else. If you get any value at all from this channel and you feel like supporting it, a like on this stream is super welcome, as well as a subscribe. I'd be super grateful for that. But if you get even more value than that, do consider buying me wrong side again. Do you consider buying me a coffee? Whoop, right here. But you don't have to. A like and a subscribe are more than enough. And then who knows? Maybe over time you'll feel like supporting this a bit more. Guys, I'm proud to say that this is day -6 before I get my brand new internet connection. Well, it's more like an upgrade, and hopefully I'll be able to stream in 1080p without any annoying, super frustrating buffering. So stay tuned over the next week as the viewing experience dramatically improves. Hopefully dramatically improves. In the meantime, all help is welcome when it comes to making sure the stream is of good quality, that the bass is correctly synchronized with the track that I'm playing, the levels between the track and the bass are correct, and the scenes, when I move from one thing to the other, sometimes I forget to switch between things. So do let me know. Do let me know. Chatting and contributing is the most important thing. News. What have I been up to? The website is nearly done. I know I'm late, but I've stumbled upon a bunch of little issues, data structures and all of that, database interactions. It's not the scope of this chat, but I'm slowly making my way towards a fully working app. Once all the little bugs are ironed out, I'll be looking for you guys with Spotify premium accounts to come and test it and tell me what you think. So there will be an open beta where you'll be able to submit your email addresses and I will add you to the testers list, and then you guys will be able to just have a play with it on the stream, sort of play along, test it along when I'm using it on the stream, which I will do a lot more of as the app becomes more and more workable, useful, working, less buggy. I've talked about the internet speed. There should be possibly some chatbots involved today, although I don't really know how to test them without going live. So that's also something I need to work on. But more importantly, hi Michael, lovely to see you again. Bonjour. What a pleasure to have you again. The exercise that I was practicing last week, this strange spidery looking thing, I've found a bit of an extension to it. Basically, we were only going up. Well, how about going down and then up again and then down again? So I found a way to link up and down together for more torturous pleasure and hopefully more forearm gains and more agility, dexterity in the left hand. So I'll be demonstrating that in just a second. I really want to do some transcribing again today, and I'll talk a bit more about that when we get there. In the meantime, guys, let me show you this super awesome new variant of this exercise. which I particularly enjoy. Right, so we were familiar with the... Just a touch high, okay, touch lower. We were familiar with the... I stumbled upon this an hour ago, so bear with me. Oh, come on. So it takes me a lot of processing power to get through it, but there is a way to do it. I just need to remember. I just need to remember exactly how I did it. That's it. It's basically the exact same pattern, just reversed, somewhat reversed, which allows us to move up and down the neck in one smooth movement. I know, a bit of a nerd when it comes to exercises like that, but that means that you can sort of do it until you're really, really tired, as opposed to having to... and then, well, you go back down. No, it's really, really cool, I think, that it's possible to move it down as well as up. So and basically moving it up and down in a symmetrical fashion. Because I haven't done it a lot, I kind of get confused with the notes. So it's not, sometimes it aligns, sometimes it doesn't. It does on paper, it does align perfectly, and you're able to just practice this exercise up and down, which is just really, really cool, because it combines all of the elements of the spider that we talked about on this stream for a couple of months at this point. Hello, Jonas. Guys, pleasure to see you on the stream again. Honestly, what a pleasure. So I'll go through it again a couple of times. I'll try to do a couple of string skips as well, but the fact that I can now move this exercise up and then down means it covers even more ground. It's even more packed in dexterity gains. Thank you, Jonas, again for suggesting the appropriate word for what we're aiming for here. An improvement in dexterity. So I'm going to go through it slowly so that I don't make mistakes, and so that I can demonstrate why I think this is awesome. And there it is. I think I managed to sort of do it. Managed to sort of do it in one go. And the idea is to take all of this. Let's say repeat, go up, go down between the D string and the G string, then go up and go down, alternating between the A string and the G string, and then the same thing, and then repeat. And it can just be one long string, uninterrupted string of, no pun intended, uninterrupted string of a bit of torture. And then you get to really, in a way, measure how much progress you're making, because you're able to say, oh, I've been able to go up and down twice or 3 times. And then you start adding a click at different tempos. Obviously the point of this is not to play it fast. In fact, it's even better when it's slow. But don't worry guys, I will add this to the PDF that is on the Patreon, and I need to make sure that it's accessible for free. So the PDF will be updated after the stream. For now, just know that this is what I'm gonna post later on, and I'll post a link to it on the Discord server as well. Mike says, I can't decide which finger is misbehaving more. My thumb keeps ending up in wrong positions. But that's also really good, Mike, because that's, well, you're aware of it. Which means the path forward is to take it even slower and making sure that you build that sort of automatic thumb resetting reflex. Because it has to become a reflex. That's basically what we're doing when we do all of these dexterity exercises, all of these position changes on the neck, is to highlight all the things we can't do so that we're able to work on them in a really precise fashion. And bear in mind, Mike, like I said, this exercise is quite advanced. So if you're trying to tackle this as a whole, it might be a bit intimidating, especially if it's not something you've been doing a lot of over the years or the last few months. So maybe taking it one element at a time would be appropriate. Let's say you notice that your thumb gets stuck to the neck after a couple of position changes. Pause. Pause. And say, oh, okay, my thumb is still in the same position. Right, let me start again. 100% focused on making sure that my thumb position is resetting on every position. Obviously, don't do it as fast. Do it as fast as you can, but as correctly as possible. That's it. That's what I think on this particular exercise. I really want to try and get like a full. Get the full exercise in at some point, and I want to try it with a click. Am I going to try it with a click? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I really want to test myself on this one. I think it'll be... I might have to stop and start a couple of times, but hopefully I can sort of do it in one take, quote unquote. Okay, I'm at 90 BPM. Oh, I'm not sure. I think I got a bit lost there. This is probably something I should practice off screen a little bit, but just to sort of open it up to the fact that it's possible to it's obviously possible to do this exercise backwards, but there's a bit of I think there has to be a bit of a method to it. It's not completely symmetrical. It's not just doing the one thing up and the one thing down, because it has to sort of make sense in terms of finger swapping and strings, and the order has to be altered just a touch in order for us to maintain that kind of finger alternating string pattern. But do let me know what you think, guys. I think it's a pretty cool addition to this exercise. It might very well be what Lars Lehmann does as a full practice routine, and he only gave us just a snippet of what he does. So I thought it would be an interesting thing to try and expand on it and turn it into just a super long one exercise without any interruptions or having to reset positions without playing. And it allows us to practice this thumb positioning resetting movement both on the way up and on the way down the frets. So I'll be working on that off screen for the next few days, and then hopefully I can come up with a at some point I'll be able to play it and demonstrate it and explain it correctly without confusing myself. But this is just to let you know that this is something else that I'm super chuffed to have stumbled upon. So Michael says this is even weirder than the Lior riff. Possibly, because we're doing the Lior Ozeri we're only doing it down. Sorry guys, there's an F-16. If you could hear it in the background, there's F-16s flying over. They've been doing that since the war in Ukraine started. I live not too far from an Air Force base. And mopeds. Not as cool as an F-16, but so much louder. So much louder. So yeah, maybe I should have closed my window, but it's a very windy day as well for training. Pilots, eh? These guys, they just never stop. It's inspiring just to see you have to learn this exercise. Oh, Michael, I mean, that's the whole point. That is the whole point. Like I said, in this channel, I'm not interested in showing off. I'm interested in showing the behind the scenes type thing. Not that I'm a Hadrian Farod and we're able to see how Hadrian practices whatever, but just the fact that I managed to get to a pretty decent level on bass with just a handful of exercises and just a lot of repetition. Jonas, no, it's coming in 6 days. So yes, I mentioned it in the intro. It is day -6, so I'll be counting down the days until I get this upgrade, and hopefully the improvement is very noticeable. Jonas, is it still buffering quite a lot? I would be interested to know. I mean, is it buffering like the usual, like every 7 seconds or so? It stops for a couple of seconds, because that's what I've noticed. If there's any improvements, well, maybe I shouldn't pay for the for the upgrade if it's improving somewhat. I just want to keep doing this exercise, but I'll do it off screen. I'm not gonna. Yeah, this is not the. It's something that I do best when I'm sort of focused on it in my own zone. So I will be updating you guys every day on the progress of this exercise and posting it updating the PDF in the Patreon zone. It's the same as it has been. It's a shame, but at least it's not worse. And hopefully the difference is super, super noticeable. Guys, if there's anything you'd be interested in talking about, or cool exercise ideas that you have, please do let me know. in the meantime, I really wanted to nerd out again a little bit with some transcribing. And I asked ChatGPT a few days ago what were the sort of most transcribed jazz solos of all time, and gave me a list. And I was happy to see that on top of that list was Now's the Time by Charlie Parker, which is a blues, which is all the more interesting that that all blues stuff is super, super highly transposable and reusable, repurposable. It's just full of awesome ideas, and I thought it'd be an interesting thing to just give this a go. So for about 20 minutes, I reckon I'll just do a bit of that and try this time to talk a bit more about my thought process when I'm listening to a relatively complex tune to transcribe. To be honest, Now's the Time, I've listened to it loads, like in my time, years and years ago. But it's been a while, so I can't say I'm approaching this completely 100% fresh. But I've never transcribed it, and I've never memorized the solo at all. So yeah, I'm just going to give this an honest go, and if it makes for terrible content, I will never do it ever again. That's not true. I might still do it. Figure it out. Okay, Amazing Slowdowner is on the screen. As per usual, guys, I'm using this tiny piece of software called Amazing Slowdowner. The name is literally Amazing Slowdowner. I'm not saying it's amazing. It is called Amazing Slowdowner. It's not the most advanced transcribing software out there. Some people prefer the functionalities that software like Transcribe has. Personally, I don't need that much. I don't need to see the sound wave. I don't need to have all these bells and whistles. I like to have just to be able to just do snippets, navigate between them easily, and being able to slow it down. That's pretty much all I care about. Michael says the buffering doesn't seem to happen regularly. I hope so. It seems to be changing quite a lot. Some streams are really frustrating to watch, and some others are actually kind of tolerable. At least it doesn't make me want to throw my router out of the window. All right, let's give this a go. It's been a while since I've transcribed, actually. Probably maybe just a couple of weeks. But without further ado, just want to make sure that you guys are getting some sound. Cool, should be coming through. Okay, and we're off. That was the theme. Little ditty, not ditty, ditty. Pretty simple melody to sort of wrap your head around. And now I'll put a timestamp on this. Start now, and this is where the solo starts. I don't know how much I'm going to have to slow this down to wrap my head around the notes. Probably quite a lot, but let's see how much I can sort of digest on a first listen of the solo. After, I don't know how many years have elapsed since I listened to this tune, but here we go. Yeah. Okay, that's one full section there. I'll put it in the store as solo 1. Cool. Let's give this a go. I think I was a little bit... That's already a pretty awesome lick. I mean, let's face it. We're an F. So an F. So root F, slide to the major third, fifth, down to the fourth, little trill, and then down to the major third again. On the sixth, and not skipping over, little visit to the fifth, and then back to the root. That's already a pretty awesome. You can just take that one for a ride across for the whole chord progression. It's already a pretty neat, pretty fun little lick to start off with. Now, why am I doing a slide here? Am I hearing a slide actually? Yeah. You can just about hear that sort of appoggiatura. Now, does it start on the second or does it start on the minor third? I'll leave that to you guys. Yeah, pretty neat leak. Mike says, "Oh, Zahar is in the house. Nice one, guys. Woo! The OG crew." It would be funny if one day it was discovered that great jazz musicians have a mental disorder. Wait, you mean not all of them do? Some great musicians are bipolar, like Devin Townsend. I mean, getting really into jazz could already be in the DSM-5 as a bit of a symptom that there's something wrong with you. As in, it's like people who do Rubik's Cubes for fun. It's like why? Who are you? Are you just you're just a weirdo? You're just a very strange person. Very odd thing to be interested in. I hope the fan isn't too loud, guys, by the way, because it's boiling in Belgium. So, let's keep going through it. Some cool, weird sax effect there that I don't know if I'll be able to Yeah, actually, it sounds... What am I doing? Just letting my fingers sort of rake. I'm hearing a triplet. No, not a triplet. That's what I'm hearing. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty accurate. What an interesting little decoration that you can put on your phrasing. Never really thought about that. That's really cool, dude. And I'm doing a bit of a bend here as well to get that sort of bluesy bit of a what would you call that? Tremolo. Guys, welcome to the name of Phil renaming famous musical devices with his own weird British Belgian accent. A tremolo. So you do a bit of a tremolo on this F. So we've moved to the 4 chord there. Which is a great sort of run of the mill, but nothing is really run of the mill with Charlie Parker, because it's just Charlie Parker. James, how you doing, man? Zahar says, I'm really trying to improve on walking bass, but I'm really bad at it. Yes, I'm not very good at that either. That's very true. We'll talk about that in this. Actually, no, I'll just do a bit of a parenthesis on that. Michael Anthony, this is amazing. You're pulling ghost notes out of a horn transcription. Well, he's doing it. He's doing ghost notes out of a horn. I just have to rake my fingers across the. That for me is super easy. Him, it's he has to. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like he's not tongue punching. He's not tongue punching, guys. Get your minds out of the gutter. He's not tongue punching his saxophone. They're horns. They're horns. I think he's playing the actual keys. Do you call them keys? Buttons on his saxophone, but just enough to let some air through, but not enough to get the note out. Is that how they do it? I've never played the saxophone. Or just a very fast scale. Just about suggested. You can sort of hear the notes. Yeah, you can kind of hear the note. Just full of attitude, full of just cool bluesness. First one was I think that was the first lead. And then 4 chord. Ooh. Oh. I think that's it. Just a second before. 2 seconds before. Oh, it's another one of those. Okay, slow it down to nothing. I was right. So a lovely major 7 arpeggio that starts on the 7th F. We've got our regular major 7 arpeggio, but starting on the note just below, which is a super common passing lick. It's kind of a bridge between things, or they don't even use, sorry, not bridge. This particular lick is a super common way to approach notes, approach chord tones in bebop. You would think it's just whatever the important note is, except the approach to it gives it that sort of élan. Right, so what have we got so far? Then he plays it the second time. And then this thing. Let's just recapitulate at a slower pace. Huh? Sorry guys, I'm forgetting to look at the chat because the window keeps popping over it. I'm just going to get rid of that browser window so I can keep looking at your comments. Okay, here we go. Sorry guys, catching up. Zachar says I'm really trying to improve on walking bass. Yeah, right, so I forgot about that, sorry. Wah pedal for those trombone moments. Oh, dude, yeah, 100%. I wish I had one. Stay tuned. More money to spend on gear. Why not? That'd be really cool to be able to do that sort of like plunger rubbery thing that the trombone does. Yeah. Ooh, transcribing a trombone solo with these little flourishes, that'd be super cool. They call the ghost feathered. They call them ghost feathered notes. Okay, I'm gonna write it down and watch somebody on YouTube demonstrate that at some point. Ghost feathered notes. Yeah, I'll find something like that. I'll ask ChatGPT or something like that. Ghost bass notes. How to add ghost notes to your playing. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, I'll find them. I'm not seeing. James, were you talking about what horn players call these particular types of ghost notes? It might be like a super technical term that's just niche to the horn world. I might have to do a bit more internet digging on that. It's a pinched harmonic. Pinched harmonics are different, dude. Right? Isn't that what pinched harmonics are like for us? Something like that? Or are they what the guitar players do when they go, they have that like screeching sound when they do bends with distortion? I don't remember. Jeffrey is in the chat as well. What a pleasure to see you all. James says élan. Yeah, well, it's my mother language, so I better know how to use French words. Michael says, I visit New Orleans often, so I get a healthy dosage of blaring trombone. Oh, dude. It's straight from the source, man. That must be something. I meant sax de harmonics. Pinched harmonic. Could be. Could be. How do you pinch a saxophone, though? I'm being facetious. Sorry. James says there's flutter tonguing and feathering. I think they overblow for harmonics. Huh. Can you do that with other blown instruments? Probably. I might have to try with the old chromatic harmonica. I can only play one thing on harmonica, terribly. I'll practice it and then I'll do a demonstration someday, maybe. Right, so where were we? Where were we in this lovely Charlie Parker transcription? And we are... Yeah, I'm hit. I feel like I'm missing something there. Well, obviously he's got... there's a little bit of a... near the end. That... Yeah, I wonder how it would reproduce that on the... Something like that. I'd have to do a bit of a A/B testing with that. A/B testing. Were we on the 5th chord? I got a bit lost in the chord progression. Yeah, that's a... So we're on the 5th chord, on the... No, I'm lost in the chord progression again. I'm not hearing exactly where we are. So we're on the 5th chord, yeah. So what is he suggesting here? What notes are these? Since we're in C7, sorry, it's the dominant chord in this blues. So 6, and then flat 7, understandable. But here, that's a flat 9. So he's playing a flat 9 on a dominant chord. You can pretty much do whatever you want, but this is kind of the pattern that's hiding under all of this. It's this descending. Why it works, I'm not entirely sure, but it is creating tension and release, for sure. That's a very cool lick as well. Bit of a recapitulation. Where were we? Okay. Nice way to just round off this first time round the chord progression. Okay, I'm gonna try and play along to it. Oh yeah, I was missing that bit. Nice. And we're back to our root note. All together, guys, like just a series of very, very simple licks. They're not licks, just simple phrasing that takes you through all of the chord tones, a bunch of really interesting adjacent tones to the chord tones, but always kind of framing the tones between either the note above or the note below. You know, you've got that nice sort of 7 in there. Flat 9. Minor third. Was that it? So just a bunch of really, really cool stock phrases that aren't particularly difficult to sort of pick up on, and that should be part and parcel of in anyone's vocabulary, or at least accessible, you know, because they're not particularly difficult to sing along to, and I think that's the most important thing with these bebop solos, is that they're highly singable. Bear in mind that some audiences can sing or like to sing, you know, Teen Town or Dean Town, for that matter. So this is pretty singable. Super singable, and you can take that through all the chords. And then something like that. The speedy runs he does are so fluid, dude. Charlie was known for that, tweeting like a bird, right? I need to remember flutter tonguing and feathering. I need to remember those terms so I can seem intelligent when the horns are talking about horn stuff, and I'm not just talking about letters. Sorry guys, is that the A chord or the B chord? Well, it depends which one you're talking about, Phil. Is it A over B, or is it D over A, or a 7th, or flat 13th, blah, blah, blah. I'm a bass player. Numbers confuse me. Before I quit, I used to smoke only while listening to music like that. I'm glad you quit, but it's true. Jazz is heavily associated with substance use and abuse, which is always it's sadly not just a stereotype, but yeah. Jeffrey says, I remember a classmate from college that would smoke and listen to jazz. I was that classmate as well, some time ago, for sure. Jazz is just so cool. You just have to pick. You feel like you have to pick up smoking. Thankfully, not heroin so much anymore. It's not the well, sadly, it's not that available anymore. Just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Just joking. I'm not making fun of drug abuse. It's very serious. But jazz and substance abuse is sadly true. Charlie Parker, hey. Guys, what is pocket? What is playing the pocket for you guys? What does it mean? If somebody could come up with a definition of playing in the pocket, What is it? Because I keep seeing bass players, bass videos, educational, all of the bass teaching ecosystem on YouTube talking about, oh, here is how to play in the pocket. What is the pocket? This is what you do. And then they'll put on a metronome and they'll be like, okay, first you start with quarter notes on the beat. And then you do. I'm not complaining, by the way. I'm just explaining what I've seen so far. And I'm just wondering, what is pocket? How do you teach it? How do you practice it? Is it a feel, or is it something that can be broken down into like actual teachable elements? Or is it just something that you can point at and say, that's what it is, I can't explain it, but if you try to emulate what this guy does, you will know what pocket is, which is my experience of what pocket is, really. Much more than practicing along to a click. James says pocket means the right note length to leave funk in between. That's an interesting definition. It's the right note length. The right note length to leave. No, sorry. The right note length to leave funk in between. I'm missing punctuation there, man. Sorry. Is the right note length in order to leave funk in between? It's an interesting opening salvo. Jonas says, to me, it's locking in with the drums and the leaning slightly behind the beat. Jim says, ending your notes before the next snare or... Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. Ending a note before the next snare or BD hits. Bass drum hits. Jeez, my lingo. Where is it? Yeah. Good shout, dude. I think you guys are both pointing... They're two correct angles from my perspective, guys. It's just my opinion. I think they're definitely two elements that I would use to describe pocket, for sure. The groove, yeah, agreed. Silence is as important as the notes, 100% agree. Michael says, playing in time, but then you end up talking about playing behind the beat. For me, I don't know how to do it except by feel. Like we've said, Michael, a few weeks ago, talking about music is a lot like dancing about architecture. Just, you either do it, like I say, it's something you can point at and say, this is it, that's what it is. I can describe all of the elements that I can hear, playing in time, note length, leaving silence, being groovy, locking with the drums. They're all constitutive elements of pocket, but even just added up all together, it's more than that. It's still more than that, right? It's dynamics as well. Yeah, I'm literally just thinking out loud, because I watched a few videos today of guys talking about that and how to play behind the beat. No, there we go. Nathan East, obviously, guys, an absolute legendary bass player. You guys can't hear it just yet. Why is that? Restart capture. There we go. Okay. Nathan East. Every single one of you, I'm sure, will be familiar with this gentleman, whose playing is pretty much on every other famous tune. Him and Lee Sklar and a handful of other ones.
As you know, the most important thing about becoming a good bass player is playing in the pocket.
Playing in the pocket.
And a lot of guys are all over the place, and actually they don't pay as much attention to the simple pocket as they should. So I'm going to give you some very, very simple exercises, and I'm going to play along with a click track to demonstrate that even with the simple quarter note pattern, it's very important to stay in the pocket. So we'll listen to a click track now.
Right, and this is what I'm talking about. He's going to demonstrate how to play really well aligned with the click. Maybe not exactly on top of the click, but I'll let him cook. James says the difference between dotted and triplets. Silence is as important as the notes. Yes, correct. Yeah, the difference between dotted and triplets. You guys will be familiar with this song, right? Super simple. We've all had to play it at gigs, or at least in the UK. That was a staple for probably 10 years. Gee. But then there's lots of different ways to approach that. Like James says, woof. Depending on where you stop the note, it just brings in a lot more air into the song and makes it feel like it's a different section altogether. And I used to play this song and get super, 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 super bored with it. Until I realized that I was playing it wrong. And that there is a difference between the verse and the chorus. Obviously there is. And it is in the note length. At least between the second verse and the chorus. Note length is what makes the dynamics in this song not feel like it's just section repeating itself. And that's just the one example that pops in my head is this particular tune. When I properly paid attention to it, obviously super, super, super simple song, but there's many, many ways to go a level deeper in everything that you do. And because I had to play it a million times, I thought it would be more productive for me to go into that deeper layer every single time and try to figure out exactly, stick to the bass line, don't start doing all sorts of it's just, no, the singer's going to turn around and be like, dude, like, may I? It just doesn't work. So you have to be more subtle, and the song breathes. The song really starts breathing when one starts paying attention to note length. Just a bit of a side note, guys. Like I said, I'm not here to preach or teach. Just share my opinions and some of my experiences. And my experience with this song is that it's 100% true. So I'm going in your direction, James. It was one or the other. Have you click on just the notes, on just the 1s and 3s or 2s and 4s? What song is a staple in the UK? I forgot to mention the title of the song, Michael. Sorry, it's Forget You by CeeLo Green. Pretty much, it was at weddings and corporate events for, I think it's probably still being played to this day, right now, at this very moment, somewhere in the UK.
And a line, the first variation on a straight line like that would be maybe the octave playing. So. Now, believe it or not, that's more difficult than it seems, staying locked in with that click. Sometimes there's a tendency to drag behind it.
Bless you, James. Thank you very much for joining today. Really appreciate the input and an interesting definition. Well, I know you probably have a lot bigger definition if it wasn't for typing in a tiny little chat box, but that was cool, man. I really appreciate that. So take care, dude.
Or rush in front of it.
Have you guys ever tried to practice to the slowest click ever possible? It's very, very boring, but is it playing? No, YouTube is not playing. There she is. Right, so the click is at 40. Oh, gee. Okay, sounded pretty close to me in my ear. Hopefully the bass is properly lined up with the stuff, and it doesn't sound like I'm playing. Like I'm just the worst at keeping tempo. But super simple exercise, very boring, but boy, will it highlight some, possibly highlight some weaknesses in your playing. It certainly did in mine. I've been doing this exercise every now and then for many years, and there's never a time where I don't feel like I'm learning something, or at least I have to put an extra bit of effort every single time I do this exercise. So put your click at a slow tempo, maybe not 40 straight away, but like 50, and gradually slow it down until you can comfortably play one single note on the beat and feel like you're on the money. So I don't know if that is pocket, but that would be my way. From my perspective, that would be one aspect of it that you get covered by practicing this exercise. So these are my 2 cents on pocket. And I mean, listening to the greats, you absolutely can't do anything wrong by doing that. But what pocket means to you guys in terms of tunes, for me, it's this kind of stuff that I played, the stuff that I always essentially play to demonstrate what pocket is. It's this sort of song. Come on, Spotify. Hello. Spotify is not playing. There we go. To me, this tune is the perfect example of what pocket is. It's not the only one, but it's just so freaking obvious how the bass is lagging behind the drums ever so slightly in a way that really drives the tune and gives it so much more weight. And it's just so appropriate for this song, just this sort of relentless feel, like it's just a locomotive, just. I know I'm being very expressive, but you can't get the Belgian, you know what I mean. So there we go, guys. This was my 2 cents. Bit of a shorter stream today again, because I'm hungry. But I'll cover a bit more of the solo tomorrow. I'm planning on transcribing just one run around the chord section every day and just on the stream, and that's it. So just segment the stream into 3 or 4 different parts, a little bit of talking about what pocket is, a little bit of practicing exercises, ideas, both in terms of left hand. Haven't done too much right hand, actually. We did talk about 16th notes, but never a lot about string skipping, so that's could be an interesting thing to talk about tomorrow as well. Practicing efficient string skipping. I mean, there's so many things to cover when it comes to string skipping, to right hand. Just raking, no raking, muting, all that sort of stuff. It's a big topic. So I'll see if I can remember some cool exercises for that as well, and do some research. Maybe I'll stumble upon some other cool new exercise that I'm absolutely terrible at. And then that will give me some work to do over the week. And then do a retrospective like that. I need to edit that video. But the stream quality was difficult to... It's quite frustrating to rewatch it. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me today. I apologize for the fact that I've been streaming shorter things lately. Just I'm really pushing for the website to be out for a great many reasons. Once that is done, I can focus again on producing cool content and watching videos. I don't want to do reacts, but I want to find exercises that I've never done before and practice them regularly on the stream and demonstrate the effect that they can have, the positive effect that they can have, and hopefully motivate all of us to think of like efficient ways to practice. Since I've been so inefficient for my whole career as a bass player, just doing all sorts of useless stuff all the time. I mean, it's fun, but it would be nice to have a more structured, systematic approach to these things. But neither something that takes away the fun from it. Difficult thing to navigate, but food for thought. So, gentlemen, day -6 until I get my stream to the next level. You want to get in on the action, guys, because once the connection is upgraded, this stream is going straight to the moon, and yeah, I'll have to deliver. I know, Michael. I know it's not, streaming is not really a thing in Belgium that much. Really decent internet connections are usually for companies and around bigger towns, bigger cities. In my neck of the woods, it's people are busier plowing fields and fixing cars and tractors and that sort of stuff. So, and flying F-16s apparently. They probably have a decent internet connection over at the Air Force Base. But hey, gentlemen, again, my thanks for your attention today. And I'll let you hopefully practice the rest of the evening/day. And I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Roughly the same time, depending on where things go. I've got a bit of a rehearsal tomorrow with a lady singer. I don't really know what she wants me to do, so yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I can come back in time for some streaming and some left hand, my progress on this extension to the torturous exercise. Gents, have a lovely evening, lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow. Doodles. Gents, have a lovely evening, lovely day, and I will see you tomorrow.